Into the video. What's good everyone, Shurit here, bringing you guys a follow-up to my link discussion. And previously in my link monster discussion I said you guys should adapt to the game, you guys should try to play these link decks, they're actually fun. But ever since then, it's only been a few days and I've just been thinking about it, ever since then I've changed my opinion and said link monsters absolutely suck. Might be a bit strong, but I'm going to explain my opinion. So basically the way I see it is that if I'm going to invest my money into link monsters, so I'm going to buy 3 of this Cyverse link structure deck and 3 of the link starter deck and 3 copies of Firewall Dragon and whatever the deck needs, like for example Code of the Duelist singles, there's a card called Backup Secretary which Cyverse do need, then I want to be playing something that's viable and something that's good. And currently link monsters are not good, even though they've got a few structure decks, even decks like Stargrails and stuff like that. Even though they came up with so many other stuff, it's just the only good thing is Firewall Dragon, which I'll explain later. But the only good thing is Firewall Dragon, and although Firewall Dragon is a good card and allows loops, Firewall Dragon loop is the most glass cannon thing I have ever seen. I am not playing a deck where I rolled the dice, oh I rolled a 6, oh you rolled a 5, okay I win because I'm playing Firewall loop. No, I do not play like that at all. I build my deck and I'm saying, look, I want to have the chance to 2-0 you. I'm not relying off going first. So if I'm going to invest my money into these decks, I want to be getting something good out of it. And then people in the comment section might say, well, sure, just wait, they'll get good cards. Yes, they will get good cards. But the problem is, they have to get broken cards because this is the way I'm seeing it. Link monsters are exactly the same as synchro summoning. Yes, they have link markers. Yes, it's a bit more complicated and more generic in a way because you don't have to have a tuner, but tuners don't really matter in that respect because in a synchro deck like Synchrons or Dark Synchro, you never run out of tuners. It's never been a problem with synchro decks where you're just like, oh, I wish I could synchro summon more, but I don't have any tuners. No, synchro decks have so much recursion, so much graveyard revival that you never run out of tuners. So in a way synchro summoning is generic as well. You will have to pay the tuners, but a lot of monsters are tuners now. Like in the Blue Eyes deck you can easily synchro summon because there's so many tuners. The stones are tuners, the spellcasters are tuners, if you know what I mean by that. So link summoning is basically the same as synchro summoning in my opinion. You're gonna put a couple monsters, summon a better one, and the thing is, why on earth do I want to play a deck that's basically exactly the same as synchro summoning, but has worse monsters? Firewall Dragon's good, yes. The Stargrail link version of Gnist is good, but apart from that, the rest, Decode Talker, yes, you look cool. Yes, it looks cool when you suck it, like Decode Talker in the anime. But unfortunately, you absolutely suck. And people, as I've said before, people will say, well, it's just like Utopia. Yes, it's just like Utopia, and I understand that. But I don't want to play this deck just because later on I know it's going to get broken. I don't want to play an extremely broken deck. I don't want to play this mechanic like Pepe. Oh, I'm just going to spam, I'm not going to let you play Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't want to play the deck like that. I want link monsters to be good, but not broken, and they can't be like that because what link monsters did, well, not really link monsters, but Konami brought about link monsters in the wrong way. They brought in link monsters, that's all good and fine, link monsters are fine, but they changed the rules. So they crippled the extra deck. They basically did cripple the extra deck. Look at decks like True Draco. What's the point of playing a deck like Synchrons or Quasar or a deck like that? A lot of people I know love Quasar Synchro and they're really annoyed because they really like that deck and they're just like, yes, I can make Quasar still, but I don't want to use these link monsters to do it because it's like I can't play the deck the same way I used to play it, and I totally understand that. So they'd rather go to decks like True Draco where we can play the deck at full potential. I'm not going to touch the extra deck. I might go into it once or twice, but I'm not going to touch it, and I'm just going to summon Masterpieces and I'm going to win. Even though like right now True Draco aren't that good in the OCG because obviously Masterpiece got limited, Diagram got limited, which is fair obviously. Terraforming got hit to 2. I'm really annoyed about that. I've said that in my OCG ban list discussion. So that deck isn't good anymore, but right now we have decks like Winwich Invoked and True King Dino. They're the good decks. Even though they use their monsters from the extra deck, they only need like one monster, like Winwich Invoked, 1 Crystal Winged Dragon, 1 Invoked Raijin. That's a nice disruption. And the thing that link monsters don't have right now is disruption. Firewall Dragon disrupts, yes he does, easily. The link version of Ignista disrupts in your turn, that gets rid of your opponent's stuff. But they don't really have that disruption where they're strong enough just to summon it and be like, okay, you can't out this, then finish. And unfortunately, because I don't like it, I'm not justifying it in any way, but unfortunately the game has evolved so much that it's like, okay, I'm gonna put my board out, can you break it? No, you can't. Okay, GG, let's go on to the next game. That's how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. And Konami have to find a way to break that. And they tried with Link Monsters. They thought, okay, if we cripple the extra deck a little bit, then the game's going to be balanced. No, it's not. People are trying to play Firewall Loop. Even though Firewall Loop is glass cannon, as I've said already, even though, yes, it is glass cannon, it's still fairly good because it can let you like loop into Exodia and things like that. Even though it's not really competitively relevant, it can be seen as broken because I'm pretty sure Firewall Loop will take a couple of regionals and then they're going to look at stuff to hit. For example, Grand Soul, the Elemental Lord, because that card is not once per turn. Firewall Dragon keeps on special summoning it because he's not once per turn. So they're obviously going to try to hit Grand Soul rather than Firewall Dragon because Firewall Dragon is an ace monster, like I explained in the other video. And obviously they don't want to hit it because of marketing. If they hit the boss monster, people are going to be like, I don't want to play this crappy game. Obviously it's not a crappy game, but you know how other people think. So the way I see it is, you're going to have to change this because I'd rather play a deck that's not relying on the extra deck. So right now I'm looking at Infernoid Lightsworn, for example. Like, you need like Minerva, you can go into Omegas, you can rely on the Infernoids from the graveyard. That seems like a really fun deck, and that seems like something that allows me to still use the extra deck, utilize it. But the extra deck has turned into a kind of toolbox now. Like, it's turned into a kind of engine. You know how you put a brilliant engine in your main deck and you'll be like, okay, this is going to speed up my deck. Well, now you rely more off your main deck, and the extra deck is kind of more like a toolbox because Link Monsters just aren't good enough now. So that's like my initial thoughts on that. I'm gonna like explain more in depth on what I mean. So let's go on to the next bit. So first of all, Link decks suck, as you can see on the screen right now. Cyberse, Trickster, Golki, and Stargrail. Stargrails are the better. Stargrails are the best one because they can like they have like a Seraph Knight effect with a Stargrail Dragon Imduk, I think his name is. They have a good boss monster in a way. They have the Ignista version where you send one card on each player's field to the graveyard, you pick it, and then they have like Firewall Loop. They can do the Firewall Loop as well. So it is a relatively good deck, but it's more of a glass cannon deck. It's like not as strong as decks like Invoked Windwitch and True King Dinos, like that's doing good in the OCG because they'll just put a VFD on board, be like, you can't out this, sorry, the game's a bit slower now, you can't like bait me out with this like extra deck monster and then hope to like win because you're already playing loads of main deck cards to compensate for the fact that the extra deck has been crippled. So Link decks suck. Stargrails are okay. Cyberse, as fun as they are, I just feel like, okay, I've just put a Drake, I've just normal summoned my Draco Knight, I wasted one of my normal summons, I special summon a level 2 normal, then I've a Link summoned with something else. I've summoned like 1 copy of Firewall Dragon and 1 copy of Decode Talker, or maybe 2 Firewall Dragons. Yes, it's fun, it's cool to summon Firewall Dragon and all, but you're not really accomplishing anything. Yes, I can bounce back a couple of your monsters. You activate a Regeki on me, you Kaiju me, you summon like a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and you summon something that's better than all these Link monsters, because like Synchro Summoning, Xyz Summoning, Pendulum Summoning even, and what's the other one, Fusion Summoning, they have got their best monsters already. Link monsters haven't, so it's going to take an extremely long time for people to use this, and that's the issue with Synchro Summoning. You didn't have to use it because it didn't change the game. Although it took a while for Synchro Summoning to become relevant, it didn't matter that it took a while because you didn't have to use it. But Link monsters, you have to use them if you want to use the extra deck. So, and the fact that they suck is horrible because then you don't want to use the extra deck. So Link decks suck. Tricksters, yes, they burn you, but burn, as good as burn is, as good as they are, where you can just draw one, burn. Yes, it's good. Yes, it will top regionals, but when it comes to YCSs, when it comes to like more competitive levels, people generally don't want to play a deck that relies off the dice roll. And Tricksters do kind of rely off the dice roll, where they always want to go first. If they go second, if their opponent puts like a VFD or a Lagia just to negate, like, if you negate one thing in Tricksters, like you negate one reincarnation, or like you solemn strike something so they can't chain anything on. If you do something like that, then they're kind of dead. Golki's Blue Jeans 2.0. Were Blue Jeans ever good? Please tell me. No, they won't. Yes, maybe they took a couple of events, but it's because of their trap cards. Okay, I'm just going to set a load of trap cards. Golkis, yes, some people like playing that kind of playstyle, protect the castle, but good decks aren't like that. Brujins suck. Like, it's like Brujins, Infernities. Infernities are good, Brujins are bad. Even though Brujins can top, Brujins, like the whole playstyle and stuff, it's not good at all. It's extremely reliant on back row. It wants to slow your opponent down. It's a stun version. And generally, stun decks aren't as strong as decks that are like consistently pushing out these big monsters. So example of a stun deck can be True King Dinos. It's relatively a stun deck because they put a load of negations up compared to True Draco. True Draco, yes, they do put up a kind of stun card like Masterpiece, but the difference between that is Masterpiece is extremely offensive. It can pop your opponent's cards, and then the traps pop stuff, the spells pop stuff. So generally, offensive decks do a lot better than defensive decks. So Golkis in that way are really good. Cyverse, as I've explained, you put too many resources into summoning decks, cards like Firewall Dragon, so it's not really that good. So far, Link decks up. If they want Link decks to be good, what they have to do is they have to let you Link summon, and then there has to be monsters that say when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add this to your hand if it was used for a Link summon. They need to plus. Like Zoo, look at what Zoo do. We're already spoiled. I'm sorry, Konami can't like slow this game down anymore. They have to let us plus. That's the issue. Like, I sound really greedy, like, oh, plus, but that's the issue. We played decks like Zodiac. I haven't played it, but I played decks like True Draco. I played decks like that, and I played decks like Necros, where you're going to summon your big monsters, you're going to like achieve this big thing like do attrition play, but at the end of the day, you're still tributing the Shura and you're still getting a copy of Brio for next turn. Link monsters don't plus. It's just like, okay, I'm like vomiting my hand onto the board. I'm going to empty my hand. I don't get anything from it. I just get the monsters. Once you have the monsters, I lose. And that's the issue with Link summoning. What they should have done is, they shouldn't have implemented the rule that said you can't summon more than one extra deck monster without Link monsters, and they should have made Link monsters really powerful. That's how it should have been. They should have given them really good effects, should have let them plus. So in a way, a Link deck is different to a Pendulum deck, where you can Pendulum summon in a Pendulum deck, but in a Link deck, you're only Link summoning, you're not mixing Link monsters unnecessarily into decks like Pendulum just so you can do your standard plays. And that's what I mean. So Link decks suck. If they want Link monsters to be good, they have to give us main deck cards that say when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add another copy of it, or you can add back something, or you can do this. Firewall Dragon, of course, is a good card, but you can't keep on relying on Firewall Dragon because it is still limited in a way, because Firewall Loop, as I've said, is glass cannon, and if you're going to play a deck that involves Firewall Dragon, you are most likely playing Firewall Loop as of now, and that's what I mean. We want to be able to utilize Firewall Dragon in a different way to allow us to maintain our resources, if you guys know what I mean. So next bit, the boss monsters. I've kind of like talked about this a little bit, but the actual monsters, apart from Firewall Dragon, I keep on mentioning it because Firewall Dragon is good. Apart from Firewall Dragon, absolutely suck. People, I think I might have said this, with Decode Talker, people will say, oh, it's the Utopia, so the next Utopia is fine. But the issue is we have to use Decode Talker, and I'm just like, I don't want to use Decode Talker. I want to be able to summon 2 monsters from the extra deck, but I don't want to use Decode Talker. As spoiled as that sounds, it's true. That's how we play this game. I'm used to something Crystal Wing, or Crystal Wing Clearwing. I don't want to be like Decode Talker, Crystal Wing Clearwing. It's just another annoyance for us. It's like, plus in a way it makes turns longer where, okay, I have to link something first, then I have to do this, and I have to do that. It kind of deterrents new players away from the game because they think, okay, so so they said I can fusion Synchro Xyz. Okay, so I'm just gonna summon my Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. I'm gonna summon my Clearing. I'm gonna summon my Star Venom. Oh wait, I can't do that. I have to summon Decode Talker first. Well, okay, this game can get lost. I'll go play Mahjong. That's what people will feel like. They will feel like, I don't want to have to play these cards that don't relate to my archetype at all. So Synchrons rely on summoning Stardust Dragon, the Jet Warrior, like monsters like that, shooting Quasar Dragon, shooting Star Dragon. They kind of use TG as a tool to draw cards, to plus, obviously, because plussing matters in this game. It's not 2002 where Lujin, the mystical genie of the night, I set Mirror Force, I win, ha ha ha. No, it is not like that at all. We have to plus. So yeah, as I was saying, Synchrons, they have all their archetype monsters. They don't want to include Link monsters. And the fact that Konami, I've said this already, if you guys haven't watched my other discussion, you guys should, because I'm kind of following up. I've said this before. Konami should have increased the extra deck space. That was one thing that they should have done. But people will say, oh, but that's stupid, then somebody could just use 20 Xyz monsters, and I've said this before as well. No, they have their 15 extra deck monsters, and then they have 5 slots where they can put Link monsters in. So if decks want to use Link monsters, they just fill up them 5 slots with link monsters. That's it. That's all they have to do, and that's fine. That makes sure that people don't use too many of the cards. So the rules don't really change. It's just you have 5 more of these monsters, chuck them in your extra deck. You can utilize these. But link monsters force you to change your deck building, force you to change everything. I've seen it on the Linfio's channel. He said, I am a creative deck builder. I want to build my decks how I want. I don't want to be limited, and that's how I'm feeling right now. I don't want to buy this stuff because it's kind of limiting. It's not good enough, and I don't want to play this just because I know it's going to get broken one day. So same with Tricksters, their boss monster, Trickster Holly Angel. Okay, it gains attack points when you burn your opponent, amazing. Like, I might as well equip Axe of Despair to Alexandrite Dragon and win the duel. It's no difference. Trickster Holly Angel doesn't help at all. And the thing is, because the anime and the card game aren't on the same level anymore. They have speed duels in the anime if you don't watch it, and with speed duels you have 3 monster zones and 3 spell and trap card zones. That's not really relevant. It's about this new thing called a skill, and your skill is, like, for example, Playmaker, the protagonist. I don't think this is really a spoiler, it's pretty normal thing, but he can, once his life points go lower than 1,000, he can go into the data storm. It's just this purple tornado thing, and he can pull out a random card, and then he'll use it in the duel to like win, because like that's what happens. You give protagonist win. So that's his skill. But the fact is, these skills are what makes their decks playable, because if Playmaker couldn't use the data storm thing, then he couldn't grip all these cards in the nick of time, and he'd just know that, okay, I wasted all my resources, I've lost, Aoi can attack me directly, I lose. But it's the fact that these skills are now implemented in the anime, so these cards that are used because they know that they have their skills, so they're like, okay, that's my last resort, I have something. But in the real card game, we don't have that. We have, okay, I have to keep on keeping my resources. I have to make sure I'm not losing out, make sure I'm not going neg, and that's why people don't like playing cards like Hand Destruction, because it's an egg one. Why people don't like playing cards like I don't really have any other example, but you guys know what I mean. With Hand Destruction is an egg one because you use 3 cards and you only get 2 back. So people don't like using cards that neg. And then finally, I talked about this guy all through the video, Firewall Dragon. They only have 1 good boss monster, and that's Firewall Dragon. And as good as Firewall Dragon is, he is not enough. We need something that can combo with Firewall Dragon, that can allow us to plus, because yes, Firewall Dragon lets you add back monsters, but that only causes a loop, and that loop is Glass Cannon. I don't want it to be like that. I want Firewall Dragon to be like have another version of him where you'll get both of them on the field, and then you'll keep on getting your monsters back from the graveyard, but you don't have to go into the loop. If you're playing Firewall Dragon, you have to use the loop, because that's the only good way to play Firewall Dragon. And it seems like Firewall Dragon has came out too early. That's how it seems. It seems like they gave us cards like Decode Choker, Encode Choker, Trigate Wizard, Trickster Holly Angel, Goki the Great Ogre, all these mediocre cards. And then they put Firewall Dragon in there and be like, okay, use this. And it's just like, everybody ignores all them, and they look, Firewall Dragon, we're going to loop with you. And I've seen people in the people's comment section say, it's alright, I'm just going to play Firewall Dragon loop. And I'm like, that's all fine and good, yeah, but if you don't win the dice roll, you guys have lost, and I've had arguments about this before. But yes, Firewall Dragon's good. We need something with Firewall Dragon to make like allow the deck to maintain resources, because Firewall Dragon lets you maintain resources, but it causes a loop, and that's not good. Loops are degenerate, and it causes other cards to get banned. So it may be Firewall Dragon. Rather than hitting Firewall Dragon, they should make another version of him. So make another version to combo with him, and then errata Firewall Dragon to once per turn. That seems like something good. So the bounce back effect is fine, where you can target monsters on the field, because that's already once per turn. Is the other effect that says, it doesn't have to be a hard once per turn, it just has to be per each card. When a monster that's linked to this card is sent to the graveyard, add back a monster from the graveyard. That effect has to be turned to once per turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. If it's a hard once per turn, it cripples the card too much, because you obviously want a boss monster to be strong and powerful and allow nice combos, but the fact that it's more than once per turn is what causes the loops, and it needs an errata there. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed the visuals. I tried to put more effort into it, because last time it was kind of bad that it just had like the picture of Decode Choker and picture of Firewall Dragon. Hope you guys found it funny. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the cringy intro. Somebody requested that. So this has been Shurrit. Peace. Like, comment, subscribe.